welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker. It is tea time again, as it always is here, and we've got a black tea to look at today. So we're going to go ahead and get this one started. You know, if you want to join a tea tasting, there's actually a couple of things you want to be able to do, or if you want to host a tea tasting even, you want to be able to have several pieces of equipment, a teapot, a gaiwan like this. You know, you may want to look at a nice set of cups, matching cups. Sometimes that's good. A good kettle is always useful. One that has less plastic in it. I try to avoid things that, you know, BPA, things in plastic can be an issue. Also, plastics tend to absorb flavors, and so that's another reason to generally avoid. Something that a kettle that also one that, when it reaches a boiling point, automatically turns off. That's a minimum. Other things, there are lots of kettles that are coming out now also that, well, actually you can change the setting. You could do a green tea setting, which would mean it brings the water to a temperature generally, you know, somewhere around 180. Or black teas or oolongs, and there are settings for those as well. So all those things are useful to have. What I'm doing here, in case you're watching or tasting or preparing at home, I just scooped out about this is a regular, you know, everyday use type of teaspoon. I did about a teaspoon there, or at least 80% of a spoon there, and that's not really covering the full bottom of my 4-ounce gaiwan here. So put another half, and that's looking very close. So I'm just going to add another pinch there. That was about a quarter of a spoon, I would say, and that's like a good volume. So set that back here while we add our water here. Pouring slowly, I'm kind of making circular motion so that the water flows over and around all the leaves there, which is good. A couple other things, because I have a black tea, and sometimes this happens with black teas or with other teas actually, is that you may get a little bit of froth or foam that sits on the top of the water, and I like to get rid of that. So I take my lid and I just kind of dip underneath it and then scoop up and outward so that I can wipe that off. Got my nice handy towel here for that as well. And get a little bit more off on this side, and that works. Then I'm going to be able to cover with the lid here. And yes, I have enough water so that I've created a seal above the lid. The water actually sits up above the top of the lid there. Good. Okay, now moving on though, and kind of introducing this tea. This is from Adagio. This is their YunnanGoldenCurls. Of course, Yunnan is southwest China, home to most pu'er teas, or the origin, I should say. And again, from Adagio, a sample size like this, $6. This is from their Maestro collection, and the Maestro collection is generally a higher grade of tea than a lot of Adagio's other teas in their other selection. And the Maestro collection is a newer collection that I would expect is probably going to expand over the next few years to get to. You have your regular, kind of a regular grade, higher grade type of setup there. Let's talk about this dry leaf. Okay. One, it's got a nice sweet, malty type smell. Okay, so I get this chocolate malted type, well, less of the chocolate, more of the malted smell coming off. And also with a hint of kind of a raisiny, dry, you know, red raisin type smell in there as well. So there's that sweetness, there's the maltiness, there's a little bit of dried grape and fruit in there. Those are the three components. I would not be surprised if some people kind of associate this with a cocoa powder smell as well. That's a legitimate sniffing there that you may detect. Let's talk about this dry leaf, because what's happening here is it's called golden curls for a reason. These are golden colored, fuzzy, curled up needles or tips from the tea bush plant. This one's almost wrapped up into a perfect ring here, and so what you're seeing is nice golden colors, a little bit of brown in there, a little bit of kind of grayish brown, but again those are little streaks more, and so this does appear to be very tender, young looking leaves, okay, or tips I should say, tips. Alright, so we've taken care of that. We have our kind of terracotta, our clay base here, and this catches our water, so we're going to be pouring over it. Angle our lid over to the side, and holding with the middle finger and thumb, and we're going to pour just like so. Rich color coming off of there. You can already see that. Okay, I think those last few drops to come out as well. That looks good. Kind of dab that up, little drips that run down the side. And we'll talk about that actually in just a moment. We kind of get a sniff of these wet leaves while we're here. You're still getting a bit of a raisiny type smell. Strong malty notes coming out still also. Let's see. I'm going back and forth here because the website describes a leather component, and I'm trying to say, would I put my finger on that and call it leather? Maybe. Towards the back, very light, faint. Let's say the maltiness kind of really overpowers any note of most notes of leather. You're getting more of a stone, well, you're getting a little bit of a bready note. So you're getting a little bit of a peach note as well. So you're getting like a freshly baked peach cobbler with that nice golden flaky crust on top. So it's got a little bit of that bready, it's got a little bit of that fruity aspect to it. That's what I detect more so than say a leather note. But talking about this wet leaf as well, again our curls have unfurled. The curl has unfurled, and you have you can see your nice leaf that was about to come, that would have become a new leaf as it unfolded out of that tip, and the next leaf as well, still folded up, creating that tip there. Good sign, good shape. More of the same here. It's become a more consistent chocolatey looking color, and reddish tinge to it, rust type of red there, and yeah, there it is. So set that to the side. Okay, and we're ready to pour. Got a nice rich, again, I've seen some tawny port wines that have this kind of, like you took raisins and squeezed the juice out of it, very concentrated, rich brown, deep color there coming off. Okay, let's give it a taste though. One more. Okay, malty is the main component, as we would expect. Something kind of comes over as a dry, dark chocolate type light, sweet, bitter sweetness in the back of the mouth, especially. Okay, texture. It's heavier. It's more velvety than your common, average, everyday black tea. I should say non-Chinese, non-Yunnan style black tea. So compared with other Yunnans, I would say it's the texture, that velvet feel, on par there. Flavors, aromas. So you did have that. You did have a little bit of that kind of dark chocolate type feel, that maltiness. I have picked up more of a stone fruit type of sweetness in some others, which I'm not getting here. It's not that baked peach coming out. Nothing really cherry coming out either. Plummy, no, can't really say that either. So, yeah, the aftertaste continues on with that. Well, I should back up and say it's not a very brisk tea. It's not going to be a puckery, but that's not what you expect from this kind of tea. Astringency, there is a light astringency that you feel in the aftertaste, and so it just kind of accentuates that sweet, like I said, bittersweet chocolate feel in your mouth. So that's a positive that enhances those two balance well. What else was I going to say? You cannot really get a lot of the aftertaste, I should say. It just carries on average amount. Something else I was going to say, but I'll have to bring it up later. Oh, that's what it was. In off-camera tastings, this kind of tea can unsettle the stomach if you drink it on an empty stomach, because there seems to be a stronger level of acidity to it, or something that just kind of throws off your stomach. You get you get this grumbling, growling type of feel, like you're hungry, but even if you're not hungry, it has that kind of reaction in your stomach. So you want to be careful about timing of when you enjoy this tea. So looking at this tea as a whole, it has a lot of the components of that maltiness, that velvety feel, that aftertaste that does bring a balance of the bitter, sweet, kind of dark chocolate type element to it. Didn't have some of the fruity, baked peach type notes that can come out in some others. So looking at this tea, I give it an 88. I believe was a good place for it to go, and so that's why this tea, Adagio, is not trying to jump from a beginner tea all the way to a connoisseur level. So they're building up their stages gradually. This is above their regular level, but not that far above. So that's why we give it an 88. Try it out if you want to, if you're ready to kind of upgrade yourself to a new level of tea. Don't want to jump too far, but want to ease your palate into something new. This is a great choice for that. Come back and join us next time on Walker Tea Review. We're going to be looking at a Taiwanese oolong from Alishan here on Walker Tea Review.